Lauren. Oh, it's recording, so I don't want to say my.
Okay, so as everybody just heard, this meeting is being recorded. This is your chance to turn it off if you don't want to be in part of the recording. I want to welcome everybody. We've been looking forward to this meeting for some time, and especially our speakers, Terrence and Carolyn, who I'll introduce in a minute. But I want to be sure that before we start, that everybody has the accessibility they need in terms of captions. We can't do anything really once the presentation gets going. The captions, as probably everyone knows by now, are at the bottom of the screen. You can see them either as subtitles in 3 or 4 lines, or you can click on View Full Transcript, which will give you some context for what's on the screen. If anyone can't see the captions right now, can you speak up? Okay.
I can't, excuse me, my name's Kathleen. I can't see the captions on the bottom.
Okay, go down to CC on the bottom of your screen.
I am at the bottom.
Wait,
I'm on an iPad and there's nothing. It was there earlier, but now it's gone.
yeah, I don't know on an iPad. I don't really.
Okay, I'll cope with it. I'll cope. Thank you.
Okay. Okay.
No,
So,
do you have an iPad? Go to the settings. If you know the 3 little dots on the bottom or on the top, tap on the 3 little dots and you should be able to see a caption option to toggle on.
I don't see them.
Okay.
Okay.
That's for the iPad.
All right. Well, I hope.
Is it possible then? Is it possible that the bottom of your window is blocking it?
I think this is kind of hard to do while we're talking. So let me just go on because we want to get onto the program. I don't know whether anyone here would want to be using stream text, but the link is in the chat box. I think Lauren put the link in the chat box that allows you to see a larger font for your captions. The recording of this meeting will be on our website in 3 or 4 weeks, so you can tell people that they can look forward to that. I would like to ask everybody at this point to click on the mute button, which is bottom left on the bottom of the screen. For the people who are on the iPads, I'm not sure if you can mute yourselves. If you can't, do you mind just turning your volume way down? That would help. When Carolyn and Terrence are finished giving their presentation, we'll have, I hope, quite a lot of time for questions. I'm sure we'll have a lot of questions. So at that point, the way we'll handle the questions is to raise your hand. And the way to do that is, again, to go to the icons across the bottom of the screen, all the way on my computer, at least, to the right is reactions. And if you click on the little circle, the thing at the very bottom is raise hand. So you're going to want to raise your hand, and then I'll see that people's questions are asked in order of raising their hands just to make it fairer. If there are a lot of questions, we'll ask if people who've already asked a question can hold off until everybody's had a chance to ask one. Once you've spoken, if you could go back and lower your hand, that is also useful. And you can also ask questions or make comments in the chat. The chat box is, will bounce up and down maybe and get in the way of your captions. And so what you can do there is just open it by clicking on the cartoony dialogue sign. And they'll open on the right. If you don't want to look at them, you can just take your cursor and pull the screen all the way over to the right. Charles Cantor, for some reason, you are what we're seeing on this screen, and I'm not sure why. So can you mute yourself? Is that the problem? Can you do that?
He's muted. That's not.
I'm I run the Long Island North Shore chapter, so I'm joining you now.
Yeah, you're welcome to join us. We're happy to have you, but can you
Mute yourself.
close your video, just put delete over your video? Okay.
You know what it was meant to be.
Okay, well, it's very interesting that we're having so many technological problems, since what we're here to talk about, at least in part, is technology. Can anybody, because once Terrence and Carolyn start, I think we're still going to be seeing Charles Norton. So David, do you have any idea how to fix that?
What's the problem?
Well, on my screen, I'm seeing Charles Norton, who's here from the North Shore chapter,
have you
and I'm not seeing anybody else.
Have you, that's not on my side. Have you accidentally pinned him by any chance? Because he's muted, so that's not the reason he's popping up. And
Okay, I don't know then. Anyway, all right, so it's on speaker, and I am now going to introduce our speakers. Many of you know both of them, actually. Terrence Williams is on our HLAA chapter board, and he is also Assistant Director of the Center for Hearing and Communications, which we all know as CHC, Berelson Hearing and Technology Center. And Carolyn Stern is CHC's Director of Outreach and Strategic Initiatives. And she is going to talk, both of them are going to talk in different ways about how to make your home safer, partly through technology and partly through just solutions they'll suggest. They're going to demonstrate a couple of low cost or free and easy solutions, including learning devices and apps designed for people with hearing loss. So Terrence, I think you are going to start. And if I left anything out of your bio that you would like to include, you could start with that. So over to you, Terrence.
Oh, thank you so much, Catherine. It's nice to be here. I am on 2 devices because I have a patchwork of things working now. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Very good. As Catherine said, I am Terrence Williams, and I'm the Assistant Director of the Berelson Hearing and Technology Center at the Center for Hearing and Communication. Carolyn and I go way back and have been working together for many years. And we think we've put together for you a pretty good slideshow for alerting devices to help you stay safe in the home. I'm going to pass it off to Carolyn, who's going to talk about the Center for Hearing and Communication in just a minute. But if we go to the next slide, Carolyn, we'll talk about the agenda for today. So Carolyn's going to give you a brief introduction to CHC if you're not familiar with us. And then we'll talk about some alerting devices and give you some solutions, low cost, low key, and analog, as well as some digital solutions to help you stay safe in your home. Fall detections also we're going to talk about today with some different devices. And then at the end, we'll have a short question and answer section so that you can ask any questions you might have, individual questions on how we can help you. Okay, next slide. And this is going to be Carolyn's going to talk to you about CHC a little bit.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Good evening. Happy to be here. I see so many familiar faces. So the Center for Hearing and Communication, for those of you who don't know us, we are located in Lower Manhattan and Florida. Our mission is, sorry, let me just adjust my notes here. Our mission is to provide high quality comprehensive services to empower people affected by hearing loss, deafness, or listening challenges such as auditory processing disorders, as well as tinnitus or tinnitus. We have 4 clinical areas. Some of you may be familiar with our audiology practice. This department does everything needed to help someone with a hearing loss, from detection, diagnosis, counseling, guiding on what technology will be the right solution for the individual's hearing issue. They will support you through your whole journey. And if something changes, they can adjust your devices for you. And Terrence manages our technology department, which also has walk-in services. So if your hearing aid is not working or you need a repair, we can help you with that. In addition, we have a speech and language department that provides listening and spoken language services. So this will help people who have hearing aids and cochlear implants strengthen their listening abilities through therapy,
Me right now.
through individual and group therapy. And we also have an emotional health and wellness department. This is very unique. Is that okay? Okay. And in this department, we have a slew of social workers, psychologists, and even a psychiatrist who are very aware of and empathetic and trained to help people dealing with any type of hearing issue or deafness, or sudden hearing loss is always a really challenging thing to adjust to. It's not a requirement to see someone in this department if you have a hearing loss. We also work with family members, spouses, and the topics does not have to only be about hearing. You can discuss any issue to help you function in your life better. And we have an education department that really focuses on the younger population that we serve. We serve the whole spectrum. And this department ensures students, young children from preschool age, nursery school, preschool, all the way up through high school and college, have all of the support that they need. They also do tutoring. They also go into the school system as well. So we're very comprehensive. Go ahead, Terrence.
All right, so forgive me, of course, the hearing aid expert person's rechargeable hearing aids just died. So bear with me while I struggle to hear what's going on. All right, I'm gonna rely heavily on the captions right now. So today we're gonna talk about alerting technology, different devices that we feel could be easily installed in the home and can help you to be safe. Most of the devices have multiple options for being alerted to sounds and emergency actions, or even just your telephone, your doorbell, or your carbon monoxide detector. You can go to the next slide, Carolyn.
Sure.
So the system we want to talk to you about today is called Home Aware. This system is made by a company called Sonic Alert. Sonic Alert has been in the business for a very long time and has revolutionized sort of how we can get alerting devices in the home. Used to be that you had to have everything hardwired and wires running through the house and a specialty installation. But now they use radio frequencies to have the devices talk to one another. And basically, you need a transmitter and a receiver in the home for each device you want to be alerted to. We know that we don't always wear our hearing aids or our processors when we're at home, and especially when we're asleep. And we know that it takes louder sounds to rouse us from a deep sleep. And if you have a hearing loss, even more. The sounds have to be even louder. And many of the alarms, just regular alarms out there, just aren't loud enough to rouse a hearing impaired person out of sleep. And this system that we're looking at right now has this main unit, which is the main receiver. And you can have all these different transmitters that will connect to this receiver and will alert you when someone presses the door. So this doorbell button that you see here on the left-hand side would be placed outside the home. And when you push the button, it will send a signal to this receiver, which is the main unit, that will let you know that someone's at the door. It also has a vibrotactile device so that the shaker will shake when someone pushes the door. And there's also on your screen a sound signaler or a sound sensor. And this sound sensor can listen for loud sounds for you and put those sounds into your receiver so you can see what they are. We can use this sound sensor for a baby cry, as you can see in the description there, but you can also use it as for your smoke or your carbon monoxide detector. So if those devices go off, you will be alerted with this flashing light that's on this device or this vibrotactile device. It also has a smartphone transmitter that you can plug into the device so that if you're not near this device, or let's say you're in your back garden or you're out on your terrace or wherever you might be in your backyard, if someone rings your doorbell and it's attached to this receiver, it will send a signal to your cell phone that you can see that someone is at your front door. We do have a short video we'd like to show you to see, so you can see how it works in the home.
HomeAware, a unique total home alerting solution from Sonic Alert, offers peace of mind, security, safety, convenience, and greater independence. HomeAware can be configured to match the needs of your household with many available packages and convenient features. Many standard features are included, like dual alarms with 105.
Sorry. Let me press again. I'll do the start again. I don't know what happened.
HomeAware, a unique total home alerting solution from Sonic Alert, offers peace of mind, security, safety, convenience, and greater independence. HomeAware can be configured to match the needs of your household with many available packages and convenient features. Many standard features are included, like dual alarms with 105 decibel volume and a vibrating alarm, also known as the bed shaker, for an extra wake or the ability to wake without disturbing others. And there are many more, all with a choice of receivers with a 2-inch scrolling display and bright strobe. HomeAware is totally configurable. Basic and deluxe receivers can be combined and communicate uninterrupted up to 1,000 feet, connecting you to your surroundings with continuous monitoring of transmitters for doorbell, baby cry and other noises, smoke and carbon monoxide, motion sensors, smartphones, alerting you to text messages, emails, and phone calls, even acting as a receiver to alert you to what's happening on the main unit and other connected receivers. Our colorful and convenient portable strobe alert, Blink. And the HomeAware Vibe, to clip on and go anywhere in the house or yard. With HomeAware, all of these safety and security features are continuously monitored to ensure your peace of mind and comfort. HomeAware. Stay connected.
Terrence, was there anything else you wanted to add?
Sorry. I have too many devices going. Sorry, I muted myself. Yeah, we think it's really important that you consider having some of these devices in the home, especially here in the city. Very often, if there's an emergency situation, like let's say for a fire, for example, the fire department will go from apartment to apartment and knock on the door to let you know that there's something going on if you have to evacuate. And I can't tell you how many times I've heard people say they did not know that they were banging on the door because they had the hearing aids off and they were in another room. These devices would help you be sure that you don't have to rely on your hearing to be alerted to an emergency situation, or even something as mundane as your phone ringing or your doorbell ringing. I'll tell you another story. I knew some people many years ago who passed away because they left their car running in their garage and their carbon monoxide detector was going off, but they did not hear it because they didn't have their hearing aids in and their house hadn't gotten the accessories yet. And they unfortunately passed just because they were not aware that their carbon monoxide detector was going off. So I think it's very, very important that you don't have to rely on your hearing to be alerted to especially emergency situations. And I think HomeAware is a very good system for that. And I think now we're going to go to the next slide, and Carolyn's going to talk to you guys a little bit about some digital applications and things you can do on your phone that will also help you to stay safe.
Okay, thank you. I see some questions coming in. What we'll do is we'll run through the presentation, then we'll take questions after, if that's okay. And I just wanted to say that I just started using the HomeAware system about maybe the last year or so. I was a little intimidated, even though I'm not like I'm like, what's the word? I'm adventurous when it comes to using my smartphone and stuff, but I was intimidated by this device. And I mastered it. You know, I took it one step at a time. I reread the instructions like a million times, and I slowly figured it out. And now I'm very comfortable with it. But so I just encourage you to embrace it. I felt like I needed it for safety, and I was willing to embrace it and learn it. So it's a really good system, and you can grow it as you get more comfortable with it, or as you get more familiar with what your needs are. Okay, so we wanted to introduce another way to get alerts, another way to alert you that there are sounds and signals happening in your home environment that you may not pick up with your hearing aids or cochlear implants, or if you're not wearing them. This example is driven by a smartphone. The capability is available in iPhones and Android phones. And essentially, it's a sound recognition or sound notification feature. And what it does, it turns your smartphone into a listening device, and it will pick up signals in your sound or sounds in your environment that you choose for the phone to listen out for. And once that sound is detected, like a dog barking or a door knock or a phone ringing, the smartphone will alert you with a notification on your screen. And if you have a smartwatch that's paired with the smartphone, it will send a message to your watch. Now, I know we probably have a mix of iPhone users and Android users, but just for purpose of time, we're going to walk through an iPhone example. But in the appendix, we added additional slides that will walk through how to set it up on both systems, okay? So first, what I want to do is let you know what's really interesting is for the iPhone, on the image that you see over on the left, it has a menu of different sounds that the phone can listen out for. Some of them are alarms like fire, siren, smoke. It can listen out for animals like cats and dogs, household appliances, and crying. And for the Android, the options are slightly different. And what's really neat about the iPhone is the newest release, the iOS 16 system. It now includes a way to customize what sounds you would like the phone to listen for. So for example, maybe you really struggle hearing the microphone beep, but not microphone, the microwave beeping sound, or what's another sound? I never hear the coffee maker beeping. It's like a very high pitched sound. You can train the phone to listen for that sound. So it's pretty amazing. Okay. They highly recommend that you don't, for fire, smoke, and like sirens, they don't recommend that you rely on this for emergency situations. So it's better to have like the home aware system set up, like the one we just shared, and then use this, use the phone as like a backup. Maybe if the battery ran out of the home aware system, so you temporarily need something, or you're traveling and staying in someone else's home. That's how I've used it in the past. And I just wanted to give you an example of how I've used it recently. I have a dog and I work from home and share my office space. And sometimes it gets noisy, so I take off my hearing devices. I have cochlear implants. But it's really important for me to know if my dog is barking and if there's like a fire. So I toggle on those two options when I'm working in my office. And it just makes me feel more relaxed because I know the phone's going to be listening out for those two things. So that's just a way that I've been using it in a temporary situation.
And my favorite one, the water.
Go ahead, Terrence. Yeah,
Yes.
Tell them your story. Go ahead.
My favorite one is the water running. I can never recognize when the water is running in the house, like if somebody leaves the faucet on. And with this, it'll tell you that the water is running. I don't know, I just can no longer recognize when water's running, especially if I don't have my hearing aids on. And even if I do have my hearing aids on, it sounds so foreign to me, I never know what it is. But now with these apps, I can know that we left the water on and my downstairs neighbors won't yell at me anymore.
Terrence,
Yeah.
can you ask
Okay.
the participants not to use chat because they interfere with the captions?
Okay. Okay. Go ahead, Catherine. I think you
Carolyn,
wanted to
can
say
I,
something.
can I answer that? This is Catherine. You can click on the chat on the bottom of your screen and the chat box will show up on the right. And if you don't want to look at it, you just take your cursor and pull it off to the right. I think it's actually a very good way for people to exchange information and to ask some questions. So I hate to ask people not to use it.
And there was a question about cost for some of these devices. For the analog devices, they range in price from, depending on what you want to do, from $50 to $200 for each device. It just depends on how smart you need the device to be and how many devices you need. I find that usually in the city, $200 or $300, you can do your whole house and be completely safe.
Mhm. Right, that was for the home aware device. What I'm sharing now for the sound recognition, it's free. I mean, the phone is not free, obviously, but this is built into the iPhone. And for Android, for example, the sound notification, that also is, there's no charge for it. You just, if you don't have it on your existing Android phone, you can download the app for sound notification, or you can find it in the settings. So what I'm going to do now is play a video that just introduces you to how, what the steps would be to set it up and how it works. Okay.
Before you start the video, Carolyn, I just want to add one quick thing. For the Android version of this, it's in the Live Listen app. The Live Listen app has a feature in it for sound notifications. And I think the Live Listen app is a good app to have anyway. And we're going to talk about that a little bit later, right? Is that right, Carolyn?
We can talk about it in the Q&A, but yeah, sure. So it's Live Transcribe and Sound Notification app. Okay, so let me play the video to give you an idea of how it works.
With sound recognition, your iPhone or iPad can listen out for certain sounds and notify you when it recognizes them. First, we'll need to turn this feature on. In Settings, scroll down and tap Accessibility. Scroll down and tap Sound Recognition, and then tap to turn it on. Next, tap Sounds, and choose which sounds you'd like your device to listen for. If you have Hey Siri turned on, you'll see a message saying that this feature will not be available when using sound recognition. To continue, tap Turn on Sound Recognition. From now on, you'll receive a notification whenever your device detects one of those sounds. Once you've turned on sound recognition for the first time, you can quickly access it by opening Control Center and tapping the sound recognition button to turn it on or off. Or touch and hold sound recognition to access the sounds menu. You can then tap a sound to add or remove it from your list. And that's how sound recognition can alert you to important sounds you might not want to miss. To learn more about the accessibility features on your Apple devices, subscribe to the Apple Support channel or click another video to keep learning. Don't rely on your iPhone to recognize sounds in circumstances where you may be harmed or injured, in high-risk or emergency situations, or for navigation.
Okay. So just to review, the purpose of showing this to you today is to introduce you to it. We're not going to walk through like all the details to do it, but there are very basic steps. But the presentation will be shared with John and Catherine, and you're welcome to have a copy of it and then play with it on, after the session. But essentially, you would go to Settings, find the Accessibility category, tap on the Hearing features, and then select Sound Recognition. And then it's up to you to decide which sound you would like the phone to listen out for. There's just a couple of things you need to be aware of, that if you don't have your phone on you and you don't have an Apple Watch, then this is no use, because you will not receive the information. You need to have the phone near you or on you. Some recommend that you could put your phone on a phone stand so that when the notification comes in, it may be more noticeable with a flash. And that's something to consider using the Apple Watch, because then it will vibrate and alert you that you have something that you need to look out for or listen for or look for, like a dog barking or water, etc. Okay. So one of the categories that we wanted to talk about now is on this list for the iPhone is water running, and Terrence talked about that a little bit. I'm curious now, how many of you have had a challenging situation with water and with having a hearing loss? Is it just about everyone raising their hand? I mean, I think we probably all have a story, hopefully not too dramatic, but we've all had our stories with leaving water on because we're not aware of it, we're not hearing it. I have my own terrible story of just leaving the bath water running, lost track of time, didn't hear it running, and I flooded the entire apartment below me. So I think it was a real watch out for me. So I wanted to spend, Terrence and I wanted to have a section on this topic because it is so dangerous. It's easy to slip and fall on water. It causes a tremendous amount of damage, and it's bound to happen if we don't hear well, especially at night when it's dark, if we don't have our devices on. And Terrence even shared, with devices on, it's easy not to hear it because it's a high frequency sound. So here are some interesting solutions that you might want to consider. On the left is an example of a kit that you can purchase. This is readily available on Amazon. It's a water sensor device. This one happens to have a pack of 3. There are lots of different options. This isn't even really designed for people with hearing loss. It's just to help people know that there's water leaking in their home. And what you can do is essentially put the sensor near the sink, on the counter or on the floor, so if the water is overflowing, You could put it, maybe if you live in a home, you could put it near the water tank in the basement or wherever it's located. This can be really helpful. You can even put it in the washing machine if you, washing machine room if you have one. And it will alert your smartphone that water is being detected. And that can be an immediate way to intercept a serious issue happening. Okay, so that's one thing. I personally have not tried it, but I think it's a very clever idea, and I would like to get this for my home. I would like to try it out. Other things, you know, that we might want to consider. We've all tried the automated faucets in public bathrooms. It's very common now. This is something you might want to consider installing in your home, maybe in your bathroom, near your bedroom, if that's the one that you use frequently at night, in particular, when you don't have your devices on. And this would automatically turn off the water. So you would have peace of mind that way. The other option is on the right is a little bit simpler. You can purchase a device that screws onto the water faucet and will emit a light, an LED light, to change the color of the water. And maybe that's a way to get your attention. So those are interesting ideas. Some very, very low tech solutions are, and maybe you have others, or just write a big note and put it on the mirror above your sink or on the door. And ask yourself, did you turn the water off? Again, it's not fail-proof, but it's something. I tend to personally just make it a habit after I had that terrible incident with the bathtub overflowing. I very much like double, triple check, just go back and look again. But I've gotten caught like in the middle of the night when I'm so tired. I'm guilty of water running in the morning, and it just kills me. Like, and thank God the stopper was open, so it didn't cause any issues. If you have other ideas, you know, share them with us in the chat, and we can talk more about it in the Q&A. Okay. So this is our last category, and this is around falls. So in addition to water, falls are a really serious issue that can happen frequently in the home, and it does happen outside the home too. The solution we're going to share with you today works for both in the home and out of the home. And the reason why we're bringing this up is because many of the fall detection systems that are very common, such as Lifeline, they're not very hearing loss friendly. Some of them are not Bluetooth enabled, so they don't pair with hearing aids. And if you fall and the system wants to check in with you and speak with you, you may not understand them, you may not hear it. So this is an interesting solution. Ruth Bernstein is going to join us now. Ruth brought this to my attention. I'm a new Apple Watch user as about a couple of months, and I'll tell my story after, because thank God for Ruth. She told me about this and I started playing around with the feature, and I actually needed it recently. But Ruth is going to join us now and tell us about it. So go ahead.
Hi, I'm Ruth Bernstein. I've been a CHC client for 40 plus years. I'm 89 and I live alone. And when I fall, and I've fallen several times in the past 2 years, I don't need to hear anything because my Apple Watch clicks in. As you can see, it asks, it looks like you've taken a hard call. Do you need help? It asks, written, and it sounds an alarm and it blinks. So you're very much aware of it. If you do not answer in 60 seconds, it will call 911 automatically. So it's important to respond. The watch is waterproof, so I wear it in the shower. And for extra safety, I put my phone on the shower step because I can also use Siri to call 911. Needless to say, my family and I feel a lot safer knowing that I can get help immediately if I need it. Your story, Caroline, now.
Ruth, I thank you for sharing that, and that 911 idea is really a good one. I'm actually going to do that. I think that's a really good idea, to leave your phone near the shower so you can use Siri to call 911. So what I'm going to do now is just talk a little bit about this setup. And I just want to remind you, there are Android options to this. It's not going to look exactly like this experience, but for example, the Galaxy Samsung phone will work with an app called Wearable, and the Wearable app has a fall detection feature in it. And I'm sure there are many other apps out there that are compatible with other Android phones to offer a similar capability. The most important thing is to take the time in advance to set it up. And that's what happened to me. After Ruth told me about this, I'm like, oh, I'm never going to fall. I don't need this, but maybe I should learn it. You know, I should know about these things. And I set it up very simply and forgot about it. Then I actually needed it. But let me just walk through the steps of how you set it up. It's literally 3 steps on on the actual watch. So the 3 images I have here are snapshots of what you would see on the face of the watch. So first you go to the settings in the watch, step 1, then you click on SOS. And I'm showing this to you not to walk through the steps right now yourself, but just to show you that it's fairly simple. It's 3 steps. Then step 2 is within the SOS screen, you tap on the fall detection option. Then it brings you to another screen. And then that's step 3. You simply toggle it on. So you now see the green. So it means that the feature is activated. And then you have an option to keep it on always or only when you're working out. And this is being offered because there have been some incidences where the watch had a false positive, I guess, where it wound up calling the local emergency services when there wasn't an issue. So maybe only having it on when you're working out would be useful. And what that means, it usually connects with a workout app so that the watch can detect that you're working out. But my watch is really smart. Like when I'm taking a walk or doing some kind of exercise, it actually asks me, do you want to activate? The watch notices that you're exercising now. So the watch actually knows a lot about what you're doing. So those are 3 simple steps. So my personal story, unfortunately happened in February, and it was dark out. I was in an unfamiliar neighborhood walking my dog. My dog was not pulling me at all, but I just was in a very dark section of the street where there wasn't a street lamp in that particular section. And unfortunately, I lost my balance because there was a driveway that was recently paved, but it was paved in a funny, uneven way. And my feet were not on the same level. So I lost my balance and fell smack in the middle of the street, holding my dog's leash, and my watch arm smashed down on the road. Thank God I didn't hit my head and I was not severely injured, but it was a really severe, hard fall. And all of a sudden, I'm like figuring out what happened to myself. I feel my wrist is vibrating. And I'm thinking to myself, like, what does my watch want now? I'm hurt. I'm like shooken up. And my watch proceeds to vibrate and talk to me. And it says exactly what Ruth read. And I heard it because my devices are paired to my smartphone and my phone. So I was hearing the audio directly into my cochlear implants. And on the screen, it was saying exactly what the audio was. the watch has detected a hard fall. Are you okay? And I was thinking for a minute, I'm like, you know what, I am okay, but thank God if I wasn't, either I wouldn't respond or I can tap the option. Let me go back. I could tap the option to call emergency services. I was all right. I was able to get up. I was able to drive home where I was. But thank God that I had it turned on in the event that I really didn't fall the way I fell. If I fell in one other direction, I would have hit my head on the parked cars that were along the street. So this can be used in the home all the time. And Ruth, you know, I think Ruth, you shared that you keep it on at night when you're sleeping, and then when you go, if you get up in the middle of the night, you know you have your watch on. Is that right?
I'm supposed to do that, but
Oh.
I'm not very good about it.
Oh. Okay. Okay.
But it does make sense to wear it because I'm 89 years old. It's possible that I can fall out of bed and you know, or lose my balance when I'm walking to the bathroom. So it's a good idea to wear it all the time.
Okay. All right. So thank you. So those were the solutions we wanted to share with you today. We have a slide on the resources of where you can purchase the Home Aware system, other comparable systems. CHC's website, we have some information on there. The information for iPhone and Android, Google phone, as well as some of the other apps that can be useful with the watch. So here is our contact information for Terrence and myself. I'll put it in the chat as well. And then, as I said before, we have an appendix in the presentation with many slides that will discuss the capabilities for iPhones and Android so that you can play around with it. So thank you. We'll take a look at the chat now.
Let me just say, before you start to talk,
Go ahead.
can everyone please remember that you should raise your hand. It's under reactions so that we can overlook anybody. And also, we'll put some of these slides on our website under the resources page, especially that last slide that Carolyn showed. I think would be useful, and so anyone can find it there. So I'm turning it back over to you, Terrence and Carolyn.
Okay, great. Let me okay.
I think Adelaide has a question.
What was that, Terrence? I'm just looking at the chat.
Adelaide Zabriskie has a question.
Okay.
If it's time for questions, I have the Sonic, I have that Sonic home alert system.
Okay.
And we have found that if you talk loudly near it, it makes it go off too. It's just an issue. It's fine, but I feel much safer with it. But I just want you to know that.
Yes.
So the sound sensor that you have, does it have an adjuster on it so that you can turn the sensitivity down?
Yeah. Let me show you. Let me show you what I have it here, Terrence, so I can just show everyone. So this is an example of let me take off my blurry background so you can see me a little, see the product a little better. Okay, so this is I don't know how well you can see me holding up a sensor, okay? And on the back, it has, you're not gonna be able to see this, but I'm just pointing out that on the back, it has sensitivity level, high, medium, low. And what Adele is speaking about is that if it's high sensitivity, then it may set off the alarm more than you would like it to. So you need to play around with it. So I just want to give you an example. The one I'm holding up here is called Baby Cry Signaler. We used this sensor. We didn't have the Home Aware system, but we used this sensor connected, believe it or not, to a lamp that Terrence had taught us about. And when our children were young and they would cry, it would set off the lamp in the bedroom, and the lamp would flash. And in the beginning, when they were really little, we put it on high sensitivity because we didn't want to miss like any cry. And then as they got older, we were more confident and we were just burnt out. We lowered the sensitivity. So we didn't go to like we weren't woken up every single minute. They maybe were like, making a little sound. So I hope that maybe that's something you could play around with.
Tracy.
Thank you for taking my call. We live in a very rural area of Eastern Washington and rely on an app called Pulse Point to alert us about nearby vegetation, wildfires, problems like that. Can your systems be linked to detect the sound when that app goes off?
Is it on your smartphone? And then
Yes.
the smartphone, does the smartphone?
Yeah, for HomeAware, it doesn't go the other way. Like,
Okay.
Right,
Okay.
it has to go from the HomeAware to the phone, not the phone to HomeAware.
Got it. Okay. And you mentioned that there are iPhones now that are trainable to detect a particular sound, and an Apple Watch that can detect a sound. What was the model number? It's a more recent model number than I probably have.
No, it's just the more recent operating system, iOS 16. So if your phone is most up to date, I just checked mine today and it was added. So take a look and see.
Okay, that answered my question. Thank you very much.
Sure. Okay. Terrence, what's interesting is maybe the smartphone transmitter that we learned about recently might work with the Pulse Point.
Yeah, I wrote it down.
That might work. Yeah.
Yes.
So this is an adapter that you can purchase for about $50 or $60. That's another accessory with a HomeAware. It's called a smartphone transmitter.
Okay.
And you plug it into the back of the base, the main unit.
Of the base, right.
And then you need to download an app, the HomeAware app, to your smartphone.
Right.
Okay. And then when your app goes off, you could test it. I don't know for sure if it would work, but that it may work.
That would be very useful to look into. Thank you very much. That's
You're
very
welcome.
helpful.
Okay. Someone asked if they can get help installing the Sonic Alert. Do you know, Terrence? I believe the customer service of the company could help you do it.
Unfortunately, no.
Not really.
Not really. And the equipment really is, we keep saying how simple it is to install. I mean, you literally just plug it into the wall outlet. So, I mean, you could probably find any handyman or your super or somebody can help you put the things together. There is some frequency matching you might have to do with some things depending on where you live, but generally you plug it into the wall and it works.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe just like adding the accessories may take a little bit of learning how to do that, but just start simple, like use it just as an alarm clock and maybe a alarm signaler for the smoke detector first, and then you can figure out the additional accessories as you go along.
And I do believe if you order it directly from Sonic Alert, when you order the items together, they come working together so that you don't really have to do much pairing and matching and things.
Okay. Yeah, also, I really think I think YouTube is your friend. If you are comfortable using YouTube videos, you can search for type in like, how do you set this up? And you don't be surprised, it may show. I feel like I'm hearing a video or something.
Yeah, somebody's not muted.
I see.
Can I give you some information about
Is there any other
the
questions,
Sonic
Rich?
Alert Home Aware? That unit, that particular phone I've been using for that particular clock I've been using for a couple of years now, and the mechanism to set things up, what to ring, what not to ring, that is to use the vibrator, use the light, set the timers. The programming part is very difficult to come by. It it I have to refer always back to the original instructions because some of the buttons on the clock are used for multiple purposes. In one way, it sets one thing, set it another way, the same button sets something else. So the setting of the programming is not straightforward. You have to really uh, study the manual and have the settings in front of you, have the manual in front of you. So just be aware of that.
Well,
Someone
thank you
asked,
for that. I think Catherine had a question, Carol,
Yeah.
that we didn't get to yet.
I don't actually have a question. I just want to amplify on what Ruth said about the Apple Watch, which I own because Ruth told me I should get one. And it has been invaluable to me because I also fall a lot. But Ruth, you should wear it 24 hours a day. You take it off when you're having your coffee or your tea in the morning. It charges in 45 minutes. I'm shocked to hear you say that you don't wear it at night. I would also like to say, if you live in an area where you don't have cell phone service or good cell phone service, you have to pay extra to get the GPS service so that the emergency services knows how to find you. I live in an area half the year where I don't have Verizon cell service, so no one would be able to find me. So I have GPS service instead. And the third thing I want to say about it is that I can't remember what the third thing I want to say about it is, but I'm glad to hear you can wear it in the shower because that is one place I take it off. So it's a very, it's expensive, but compared to the cost of falling and not having anyone respond, it's not. So, okay, back to you guys.
are there any other questions at this time?
I wondered whether you'd like to share with people the use of CapTel, which I find very handy. It's free, and if you're talking on the telephone, they supply the conversation, and it's a great help.
Yeah, I think that's a wonderful suggestion. We wanted to keep the presentation short, but I think it's really important to have an immediately read available caption phone option, whether it's an app on your phone or a landline phone, especially in the middle of the night, if you don't have your devices on and you need to be able to make a phone call and then you have the captions readily available to help you with that. So yeah, CapTel is a great option. Some of the apps like Caption is terrific. HLAA is another one. And then recently I started using the embedded captioning for iPhone, which is something we can talk about another time. I'll put in the chat what it's called and you could explore it. It's really good. And it's live caption for Android phones and Pixel Android phones and live caption for iPhones.
Yeah, Caption Phone has helped a lot of people who weren't able to keep in touch. I think it's a great device. There's some other companies out there too that make them, but they're all pretty much available for free if you can prove your hearing loss, which is not hard to do.
Also, if I can add, the installer, at least when I got Caption Call, which is another of the companies, came to my house and installed it and connected it to my Wi-Fi system. So it's a good service. I think there's a third company, but I can't remember what it's called. Caption Call, Captel, and something else.
Captel, and I think
Clear Captions is another one. Clear Captions.
Oh, Clear Captions. Yeah, yes. And they they are very, very easy to read on your screen. And they also repeat voicemail messages that people leave for you. It's a very good thing to have. And InnoCaption, we've talked about it before. We're going to have a chapter meeting next year on apps, but InnoCaption is for cell phones, and it's terrific for smartphones.
Very good. Any other comments or questions? Any other suggestions you want to share?
I'd like to ask you to go back to the whole sonic alert system, and because I'm still confused where you would start. We
Sure.
had the fire department come to one of our chapter meetings, and they gave out what sonic alert back then. And I don't think any of us were able to connect it. I even had the super in my building say that he couldn't figure out how to do it. So it sounds like sonic alert has gotten simpler than it used to be. I'm not quite sure why. This would have been 10 years ago, maybe. But could you talk a little bit about how you do this add-on of different
I think the older systems used a different method of transmission, which made it difficult for it to always work. Like it used a combination of radio waves and the electrical wiring in the house to send signals back and forth. And like, for example, I remember maybe this is 10, 15 years ago, a person had their telephone signaler plugged into the same outlet as their refrigerator. And every time the refrigerator motor clicked on, it would signal that the phone was ringing. And I think they have since improved upon that, which is why I think it was Charles Cantor was mentioning that the signaling, the connecting of the devices can be a little bit challenging, and you really have to pay close attention to make everything work. But generally, I think if you order what you want and together from Sonic Alert, they'll make sure that everything is matched up so that when you get it, it will all work. It's just adding on things after the fact that can be challenging. But I always say you need doorbell, telephone, smoke detector. You have those three things, you're pretty secure in your home, and those three things can be pretty easily set up.
Do they work on Bluetooth? What's the
No, it's radio frequencies, but it's short range.
Yeah. Would it be helpful if I'll show you the main unit? Well, let me unblur my screen.
Yep, and then I think Charles Cantor has a question.
Okay. So this is can everyone see the main unit that I'm holding? Okay. So this on the front is what I'm pointing to is red lettering that will show the time. But if there is an alert, it will tell you baby cry, or it will tell you smoke detector, or it will show doorbell running across. Okay. This up here, I'm pointing to like a dome, and this is where the flashing light will set off. And then on the back are many different places to plug in the additional accessories. Okay. So one accessory that I have plugged in is this shaking alert device that I put under my pillow. You put under your mattress, and you basically just plug it in. Plug it into the back, and believe me, I had no idea which one. I just kept testing it and just like, okay, it works here. No, yep, there. Is that right? Okay, so it works there. Now, what I could show you really quickly is my baby cry sensor. let me just plug in the battery and I'll show you how it works. And then we'll move on. Because it can be really intimidating, but like I got over the hurdle, so you can get over the hurdle too. Okay, so just make sure it's linked. Okay, I quickly paired it. There's one step where you have to pair it, and I'm not going to go through that now. Oh, okay, I'm speaking loudly. Now it's going off and it's saying baby. It heard baby cry. So now it's saying baby, and this is shaking and it's flashing. Do you get it? Oh, it's shaking. Okay, so that's how it works. I'm going to turn it off now. Okay, so it's very sensitive, but typically it wouldn't be this close to my mouth, so it would set off that quickly. I just have it like in the hallway. So in case my children are older now, they're teenagers. So like if I have it set up not for baby crying, but if they shout for me, I think it will pick it up. Like if they're shouting, like I'm hurt, it will pick it up as like a cry. So that's why I have this set up. And then I have another sensor set up for the smoke detector. Okay, so that's what I do. And then it also can work as an alarm clock. So I can set up the alarm on the clock itself. Like there are buttons here, but it takes a little effort. You have to kind of read the instructions, which buttons to press to set the alarm up. And then when the alarm goes off, it will shake and flash. Okay. We had a crazy incident where it was bedtime and I took out my cochlear implants. I thought everyone was done, but my tween and teen decided to take a shower one after the other. It was like after 11 o'clock at night. And our smoke detector is right outside the bathroom. So I'm just about to go to sleep, no implant on. I'm like, I'm done. I can't listen anymore. And this proceeds to go off, flashing. I'm like, oh my God, what is going on? Like everything in the kitchen turned off, nothing should be on, what's going on? And this, because they took a shower one after the other, there was so much steam that it set off the smoke detector. And thank God, because I was able to quickly get dressed because I didn't intercept the fire department fast enough. And so they were on their way. But this is why we have to take the time to set it up, because you just never know what's going to happen. So let's go. I think Charles had a question or a comment. Is that right? Or Judy Tuller? Did Judy want to
Looks like
ask a question?
he went away. So then
Hi,
Judith
this is-
Tuller is next.
Well, I was going to.
Yeah, this is Judy. Yeah, my question is, like that flashing light, is that enough to wake you up? Is it like a strobe light, or is it just a little flash that you would sleep right through?
A good question. It's a strobe light. I'm not convinced it would wake me up. That's why I have both. That's why I have the shaker. But it's enough to get my attention. Go ahead.
Let me indicate that the flashing light doesn't really wake me up. So to wake me up, I'm relying on the vibrator.
Yeah. But during the day, it will get your attention. Like if you're in the nearby room, you will see it.
So basically, you have to be near the clock thing. I mean, if you're in a different room, you won't see that it's saying baby cry or whatever.
Exactly, and that's why
Okay,
in the video, it showed that they have accessories like a pager that you could wear that would alert you.
Or you can
Pager.
get the
You're
device.
talking about a pager that's paired with the system rather than your iPhone?
Well, they also have a device that you can plug into it that will send a signal to your cell phone to tell you that it's going off. It's just an app you'd have to download, and you'd have to buy the accessory to plug into the back of the receiver.
Wait a minute,
They
suppose you
also
don't have a
have-
cell phone.
Hold on, Charles. one
They
second.
also
I'm
they
sorry.
also
Judith.
have they also have an additional unit that you can put in a remote room that will also flash when the transmitters are activated. So you can have a flashing light in all your rooms if you want. It starts to get expensive, but you can do it.
Yeah, I think
Yes,
that's why we're suggesting that you get the one for your cell phone, the adapter for your cell phone, because then it will send a signal to your phone that you can read what's happening.
And is the
Can
sound
we,
that it
I
makes
think
loud
we should
enough to
move
wake
on.
you
We
up?
have a lot more questions here, so maybe we could move on from this specific thing and let people have a chance to ask a question who haven't yet. Georgia?
Yes, unmuting. I have, and at the time I got registered with the 911 service for any emergency. I also requested that took advantage of the fire department willing to come and install this is the base unit. And then they installed sensors in the front of my apartment, in the rear of my apartment. This has a voice that shouts at you as well as an alarm. And it is one of the few things that I hear. I used to not hear my sonic alert alarm clock sometimes, to the point that my neighbor called the police on me because my alarm was waking her up, but not me. But this thing that the fire department installed, and it has a bed shaker, a powerful bed shaker, and it was completely free. They made an appointment with me and they came on time and as scheduled answered any questions.
What,
And
what
so
city? What
I live
city?
in Brooklyn in New York City.
I have a question, Claudine. Hello?
Okay, go ahead, Claudine.
All right. One thing first, I find it also difficult to hear the alarm or somebody ringing a bell if I don't have my hearing aids on. So when sometimes I need to wake up at this given time, what I'll do is I'll sleep with my hearing aids. Now, one, I don't know if that's a good idea to be having hearing aids through the night. That's one. And my audiologist says it's better not to, so that the ears get cleared for a certain number of hours. But so is there, other than the flashing of the cell phone, or sometimes I put it under my pillow so that I can hear it vibrate or something. That's one way that I do it for an alarm. That's one of my questions. The second question is,
wait,
I know that
Claudine,
yeah.
just 1 second. I'm sorry. Are you asking, is there another way
Yes.
to use your phone and be
Right.
alerted? Yes. There are accessories available. We share a couple of websites that sell these types of devices in the presentation. We didn't show it in the presentation, but there's essentially a wireless shaking device. So rather than having a wire, it's just wireless. And
Okay.
it has Bluetooth capability, and you can pair it to your smartphone. So that way your smartphone doesn't have to go under your pillow. You can just keep it on your nightstand and use the app that's compatible with the device, the shaking device. And then you
Okay.
can just put that device inside the pillowcase, and that can wake you up
Okay.
by shaking.
All right.
Okay.
Will you have that again on the chat, or is that recorded? Is this video recorded?
I have a slide of it, Carolyn.
Yeah.
I can send it to you. We can add it to the slideshow before.
Yeah, we can add it.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that's my first question. The second question is, I know that my sister has a phone, a regular landline that was given to her. She lives in Canada, but it was given to her a couple of years ago by one company that does special things for the audiologist, and that you can hear much clearer the sound that comes in from a call when it comes on a landline. Because when it comes on with captions, first of all, the caption machine that we have is very garbled. You can never understand what it's saying. And it makes another sound that you can also not hear the person talking. And then when the caption comes up, it's never what the person really says. It's like whatever is understood. So is there another type of phone that you can use for landline other than the Panasonics and the things that are on the market?
Well, sound quality of telephones is very subjective. So it's really hard to make a recommendation for a specific phone that will work for you. I will say that most of the caption phones now are digital, and the sound quality is much better than it had been even just a few years ago. So if you're having that difficulty, I think you should reach out to the person or the company that provided it to you, or even try it from a different company. Even if you have one already, you can contact a different company and they will send you one too. It's not like you're limited to using one company. I like Caption Call a great deal. The sound quality is awesome, and there are some other features like Bluetooth that can also help. If you can get your hearing aids to connect via Bluetooth and you get connected to your Caption Call phone, then the sound is going in both of your ears. Your brain really wants to hear that way, and it makes it easier for your brain to interpret what's being said. And then when you have the support of the written text as well, it makes it very easy to understand what's being said, easier to understand what's being said.
Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Judith Teller, I think you're next.
I think she's just left her.
Are you
hand.
ready to ask
It's
my
actually
questions?
Suzanne. is
Oh,
next.
okay. Then Susan Brom. I hope I didn't butcher your name.
I wanted to know if you go traveling and visit somebody, I always find that I wake up everybody in the house before the alarm wakes me up. How many of these things that you're talking about are transportable in your suitcase? And you could set them up easily in another place. Because the babies are always, I'm waking up all the kids and the parents get crazy about that.
Well, if you have a smartphone, there are portable shakers that you can get, and you can set the alarms on your phone, and then it will be a shaker instead of a loud sound. There's even some that have lights on it so that you can have a shaker and lights.
So, and it's portable, I take
And
it.
it's portable, yeah. The shaker's maybe the size of the phone.
I've gotten the airplanes to allow me to take an extra bag with all of my chargers and microphones and antennas and everything else and dehumidifiers, because I have a whole bag of just stuff when I travel.
Oh,
That's
yes.
right. Yes,
It
we
can
understand.
totally be condensed.
Yeah, I can share quickly. Just want to make sure I'm sharing the right screen. Just like did you see the right screen of the shaker? Am I showing the right screen? I just want to make sure.
Yes. Yes.
So
And
this is an example. So this is an example of Terrence introduced me to this company a couple of years ago, and it's a portable round device. It's very lightweight, and you can program it through an app on your phone to the time that you would like to wake up. So that is very portable. This is a potential solution you could consider.
Carolyn, that's one of the slides I added to this presentation, along with the
Yeah.
smartphone alerts one with the pad. So they'll be in the slideshow when we give it.
Carolyn,
Okay, sure.
I have a question, Carolyn, about what you just said. So if you have turned on the sound awareness or whatever it was you were telling
Yeah,
us.
sound
about at the
recognition.
beginning,
Yeah.
and you've checked off that you want to hear the smoke alarm and you want to hear front door knocking, will your smartphone send that to via Bluetooth to the bed shaker, the portable bed shaker?
Indeed.
You mean for the home aware? Or
No, she means for these portable shakers. So yes, because the sound, instead of it coming through the speaker, is going through the shaker. It's like headphones. So the sound will go to whatever's connected via Bluetooth.
So if it's on your bedside table, your smartphone, and it's charged and your smoke alarm goes off, you could just use that instead of going through the whole sonic alert system?
Yes.
You can, but we really strongly suggest that for that type of stuff, you don't use the sound recognition. The other day, my niece lives with me now, and she's 6 years old and has the highest, squeakiest voice that you've ever heard. And when she was talking to me, my phone was yelling at me the whole time that there was a siren in the street. So so it could work if you're alone and it's quiet, and but it should be a secondary option. I'd much rather use that for waking up in the morning than for relying on smoke detection.
Right. I just want to clarify the device I just shared. As far as I know, I believe it only works with the app that it's designed for, which is for an alarm clock. But Terrence, you're saying you think it could also work for sound recognition? Well, you're muted.
I do
Terrence,
believe that there's a version of it that from iLove that will do that.
You're right. Maybe we'll take a look and see if there's a product we can find to recommend for that.
Yeah.
Are there any alarms systems that you can recommend other than the Apple phone?
Well, the Home Aware is a very good system that we talked about today. It's in the slideshow, and it has a wake up alarm built in that you can use anywhere you'd like.
There are many other alarms, Muriel. You're the person who was asking the question.
I'm talking
there-
about the
there-
alarm systems that you hire so that you wear something around your neck or your wrist or something. Are any of them effective? Are there any better than others? Are there any that can be recommended?
Muriel, I just want to clarify, are you speaking about an alarm to wake you up or
No, I'm
an
talking about
alarm
in case you have an accident?
in case you fall, you mean?
Yes, yes.
So all of the fall detection systems that are available are very good. The only challenge would be if they need to speak with you, because a lot of them work with a speaker, or you wear a pendant on your neck with a speaker capability. It may be hard for you to hear them, depending on the type of hearing loss you have, and if you have your hearing aids on when you fall. So that's a challenge. And if you have a fall detection system currently, we recommend that you work with the company to find out if they have Bluetooth available, and if they have any other type of texting type of capability. But I haven't been able to find that yet, but maybe the system you have has that availability. That's why we were recommending the Apple Watch, because it does have a visual component to it, so that you're not dependent on just the audio and communicating with them auditorily.
Thank you.
I think we have to begin to wind up here. In the, in our news and views, which we send out to everybody who's on our mailing list, which includes all of you, we always do a recap of our chapter meeting. And so if you look for that, we'll try to put into the recap some of these different systems that were discussed. We'll also try to put this on the website in some way. I think it's very, useful that we can have it under our resources section, and I'll have to think about how we can do that. So I want to thank Carolyn and Terrence. My head is spinning. I'm sure everybody else's is a little bit too. And I feel like thinking of all the things I really need to do. I really appreciate the time you gave us for this. Our next meeting is on April 18th, the third Tuesday of April. And it's probably a meeting where you're not going to hear one word about technology. The speaker is our board member, Vanessa Kelly, and she is going to be talking about ways that you can cope with your hearing loss that are more holistic, including meditation, mindful movement like yoga, immersion in nature. And Vanessa has been part of all of these things herself, and she's very interesting to hear talk about them. So I hope everybody will be here on April 18th. And we have the chat. So if any questions were asked in the chat that didn't get answered, we can follow up with that. So Carolyn and Terrence and Lauren, thank you also for this great captioning. Thank you both. It was a terrific meeting. Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.